Okay, picture this. It's morning. You've just made the absolute perfect cup of coffee. And then whoops, in a split second, it's all over the floor. And that feeling that hits you, that rush of anger, that wave of frustration, it's huge. It's completely out of proportion, but suddenly your whole day feels like it's ruined. Why? Why does something so tiny have such a massive impact on us?
We've all been there, right? It's such a familiar, frustrating feeling. But how does one little mistake manage to hijack our entire mood for the day? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down here. Why our brains tend to magnify these small things, and, more importantly, what we can actually do to reclaim our calm.
And look, it's not just about spilled coffee. It's the unexpected traffic jam when you're already late. It's when plans get canceled at the very last minute. These are those little moments where our minds can just spiral, turning a small annoyance into a total catastrophe. So to really understand this reaction, we've got to look at what's happening upstairs, in our brains. Because in those moments of stress, there's a real battle going on between two very, very different parts of you. On one side, you've got your emotional brain, the amygdala. It's basically your primal alarm system, just screaming fight or flight at the first hint of trouble. And on the other side, you've got your rational brain, the prefrontal cortex. That's the part that can step back and go, whoa, hold on, let's actually think about this. So when you get furious in traffic, it's because your amygdala has completely hijacked the control. So how do you get control back? It turns out you can do it by asking one simple but incredibly powerful question. The second you ask yourself, will this traffic jam matter in a year, you're basically forcing your rational brain to wake up and get involved. It's like a cognitive switch, a mental reset button that yanks you out of that emotional storm and puts the whole problem back into perspective.
But this brain battle isn't just happening out of nowhere. It's often triggered by these deeper psychological patterns. 3 really common traps that kind of fuel our overreactions. Let's break them down.
Now, these might look like 3 separate issues, but they're not. They're all tangled together. The chase for perfection, that constant need for control, and the insistence on always being right, they all come from the exact same flawed idea that we can somehow force the world around us to fit into our neat little boxes.
And this reveals something so crucial. The goal isn't to have a flawless, perfectly controlled life. I mean, that's an exhausting race that you can never, ever win. The real prize, the actual goal, is inner peace. It's all about being peaceful, not perfect. Think about the last time you got into an argument over something totally trivial, like who directed a certain movie. You might have spent, an hour going back and forth, getting all worked up just to prove you were right. And what did you lose in that hour? Your peace. So here's the key takeaway. Most of the time, letting go of the need to be right isn't losing. It's a huge win for your own well-being.
Okay, so we get the problem. Now, how do we actively build up our defenses against these daily stressors? Let's dive into the practical toolbox for building a more peaceful mindset. Here are 4 core strategies you can use to start reclaiming your inner calm. We're going to look at managing your expectations, practicing some self-compassion, living in the present, and the simple power of just slowing down. Let's start with how we see other people.
Now let's be super clear. This is not about letting people treat you badly. Not at all. It's about changing your reaction. For example, if you have a friend who is always late, you can get angry every single time, or you can just accept that this is their pattern and adjust. Bring a book. Plan to show up 15 minutes after you say you will. You haven't changed them, but you've protected your own peace of mind.
Man, we are so often our own worst critics, aren't we? When we make a mistake or we can't juggle everything perfectly, we just beat ourselves up. But self-compassion is about remembering you're a human being. Mistakes are a part of life. Treating yourself with kindness isn't a weakness, it's the strength you need to just acknowledge your own humanity. Our minds, they love to time travel. They're always drifting off to past regrets or future worries. But peace can only be found right here, in this moment. And gratitude is the tool that brings you back. It's a deliberate mental exercise to shift your focus away from what you don't have and toward what you do, your health, your friends, even that simple cup of coffee you get to enjoy in the morning. So, all of this leads us to one final and I think really empowering idea. It's a fundamental shift in how we even think about peace itself. We often think of peace as some kind of destination. Something we'll finally get when all our problems are solved. But guess what? That day never comes. Peace isn't some passive state you just arrive at. It is an active choice that you have to make moment by moment, right in the middle of all of life's chaos.
In literally any situation, you have a choice. When somebody cuts you off in traffic, you can choose rage, or you can choose to take a breath and just let it go. The remote control for your inner state, it's always in your hands.
So I'll leave you with this final thought, because this isn't just theory, it's a practice. So I want you to ask yourself, what is the one small battle you can choose not to fight today? Is it a tiny disagreement with a coworker? Is it frustration over a messy room? What is the one thing you can let go of right now in order to choose peace? Because maybe that one small choice is where the real journey begins.